This is part 2 of the Awesome Rolling Toolbox Tour update. I also share a lot of information about my working philosophy along with how the trailer works for me. So enjoy the video. I carry my planer. Again, this doesn't get a lot of use, but when I need it, it's the only tool for the job. It's a beast, and so I have it at this height so that I can grab it with both handles, carry it and set it on the workbench. On the top here, I have my miter saw. I have the Festool 10-inch Capex saw. It's very light, but it's a precision instrument, and it has a range of the larger 12-inch saws in a very small package. So I don't mind putting it up higher because it's pretty easy to lift, and it was a little too tall to fit in this space. On the other side of the workbenches, I have two long toolboxes. One is the laser jam that I use anytime I do a cabinet job, but for lots of trim work. So I have that. And then I have another long box with my Porter Cable hinge boring template kit for building up doors. Rarely gets used. Almost all doors that I have these days are pre-hung, so it's there if I need it. And again, that's why it stays in a box. In my previous videos, I've made the comment many times that I don't use toolboxes. I find that they take up too much space and they slow me down. If I need to get out a drill, just grabbing it and putting it in my bag or taking it in is much quicker than pulling a box out, getting the drill out, or carrying it in and opening it and reversing the process. So I save lots of space. I'm estimating if I had all of these tools in boxes, I would need about 40% more space than just having them in these individual cubbies that can be adjusted over time as my tools change. Here I've taken advantage of this space. I needed some support on this outside edge for this cabinet here and for the bench to go on the top. So I use this to create a little narrow shelf, 3 levels, that hold these viewtainers. These viewtainers carry screws, bolts, electrical stuff, plumber's putty, just all kinds of things that I can see everything clearly. I have not done a great job of organizing them well. They're color coded. I could do a lot of different things, but primarily I can see what I have, and I have them in other locations as well in different sizes. And again, I get asked a lot about these. They really do help in my organization and my efficiency. I try to have everything with me that I need when I go onto a job. And you know how sometimes you get into a certain application or situation where you need a certain screw or bolt or some kind of tape. And if you've got to drop your bags, get in your truck, drive to the store, come back, you've lost a lot of efficiency for that day. So when I arrive at a job, I want to have all the tools and all the materials I need for that day, and hopefully for the whole job. But at least when I start at the beginning of the day, I can finish my plan for the day without leaving and burning half an hour, and gas and wear and tear on the vehicle, and just driving my cost and lowering my production. So having stuff with you, it doesn't mean you have to have everything in great quantities. Sometimes just having your own little mini hardware store where you have just about anything that you've run into. And as you do construction, you know what these things are. And so when you buy a few certain small screws that you don't need often, you get a few extra and you keep them. And that way, if you run into that situation again, you don't have to go to the store during your workday. Down here in front of this tool storage, material storage area, I have some deep set of deep, tall drawers. And again, because I don't use toolboxes and I'm primarily a Festool shop, I have a lot of Festool accessories. Those would traditionally go in those really great Festool boxes with their individual tools. I've grouped mine all together. So I have whatever Festool accessories here that will work with a multiple of tools, because it's a system. A lot of times the accessories work across multiple tools. So I have good access. I can see what I need and grab it out for the job. I've got all the drawers labeled so that I know right where things are. I don't need to hunt around and pull 2 or 3 drawers before I get to the right one. Cabinet tools, again, I don't mass produce cabinets anymore, but I still could if I wanted to, or if I got on a small enough job and I only needed to make 5 or 6 or 10 cabinets, I might do that. But primarily, I'm doing cabinets that are very custom, so that it would cost me more to go to a custom shop and have it built than I could do it myself. And also, I do bookcases, custom floor to ceiling, and mantles and integrated units like that around fireplaces. And so when I want to have the cabinet stuff with me, and I have the ability to edge tape and drill the holes and cut the cup hinge holes and all of those things. Glues and putties. This nose cabinet before was set up with pull-out shelves with materials, and now I'm using a lot of it here in these drawers, and I find that it's a little easier to get to. I can see what I have. So here I have glues and putties and paper towels and thinners and things like that. Then I have some paint brushes and shims. My shim cutter I keep in here, and I have room for other things as well. Hardwood tools, whether I'm doing nail down or whether I am doing snap block or glued tongue and groove, floating floor, I have all the tools that I need to install hardwood. And then in the very bottom I have glues and caulks and caulking guns and trash bags. So this has become primarily materials with some tools mixed in that fit well, and everything's labeled so I can come right to them. This cabinet remains what it originally was designed for, and that's just some tools and some materials. These are the pull-out drawers, or shelves, which I've shown many times in the past. They will not pull out unless you lift first and then pull it out. There's a little screw head that drops into a hole in the bottom of the shelf, and so you have to lift it to get it off that screw head. The drawers were set up and built the same way, and in my previous truck I had them so that you had to lift the drawer off the screw heads and pull them out. Well, as shown in the video, when I was building this, I included the same thing, and these are all designed with that. They've got the notches and the place to put the screws. I even have the screws. But I didn't do it because I found by testing in my previous truck, I took a couple of the drawers, took the screws off, and left them without them to see if they would slide out. And there seems to be enough friction that when I'm driving, these things don't open. I have yet to open the trailer and have a drawer even partially out, much less all the way out and falling on the floor. So again, I don't want to have, like I did in the past, I had toolboxes that I purchased and they were bolted in place, and then they had locks, and I would try to get all the locks the same, but I'd have to get all the drawers closed, and then the single lock would drop a bar down, and it just took a lot of time, and then I would forget, and they were on bearings, and so one bank of drawers might be completely opened out. I never lost anything that way, but I just find that being able to just open the drawer and not worry about it opening in transit, again, is good for my efficiency. I have a broom closet right here, and this is for corner brooms, push brooms, the wands for the vacuum, my dust pans, those kind of things. It was originally a closet that I hung some of my construction clothing in, rain suits and carpenter's pants, but I've put those in a drawer down below, so I do have them with me, but I wanted to open this up. I was finding that the clothes were interfering with getting my tools in and out. Stepping all the way behind there, I have 3 ladders. These are primarily the ladders that I use. I have a 7-foot and 2 4-footers. They're all wooden 3-legged ladders. If I need more ladder than this, I do have the little giant style fold-out ladders and some extension ladders, and I will just put those in the back of the truck. I can set them in the aisleway here too if I need to have them for a particular job, but I'll know that ahead of time if I need taller ladders, and I'll just add them in and bring them with me. Behind the ladders, I have put my third hand from Fastcap dust wall kits. I have 3 contractor kits, and because of the type of work I'm doing, working in finished homes, doing baths and kitchens, I use dust walls on every job. So I wanted them easily accessible, and I've moved them around in a number of locations, and I find that they work the best right here. And they stay in place. I don't have them strapped in or bungeed in. They're just a piece of plywood at the bottom creating a bin, and that bin, I just drop them in. I don't have to undo any kind of, again, any kind of bungees or anything like that. Again, passive restraints versus something that I have to hook and unhook. This nose cabinet was originally had these same pull-out drawers, and they still have the pull-out shelves, but I've taken a few out and I've turned it into storage for my vacuums. Previously, when I had my DeWalt table saws here, I didn't have table saws in the aisleway, so I had my vacuums here and my trash cans and such, and I felt it was a little more cumbersome to move them all out each time than it is to pull out the two table saws. So I wanted to get them all organized. So I have my three electric vacs in here, and then I also have a battery-powered small Milwaukee vacuum that I use on small jobs for little quick cleanups. Above there I have some additional vac accessories and some inventory of clean rags, and then filters and bags for the vacuum stored up there. On each of these shelves with each of these vacuums, stored behind them are the hoses and the adapters that I use with those particular vacuums. So this lower vacuum, my larger one, is the one I use for my table saw to take the dust off the top and the bottom of the saw. So I have a splitter and two hoses, and those are stored with it. So when I pull that out, I'm able to pull those. And by getting all of my hoses and adapters on this, I eliminated them hanging on the wall. I thought that was a good idea, but over time it was just hard to get them in and out. So this is working out to be a little more efficient. On the top up here, I have some jigs and fixtures that I use with the table saw and the other tools. I also have parts of my cabinet jack up here, and I have the mast for the cabinet jack right there. That's a tool that I use just on every kitchen for sure, not necessarily on the bathrooms, but anytime I have upper cabinets, I always set the uppers first, and then I set the lowers. And so the cabinet jack allows me to pre-assemble my banks of cabinets, detail them out while they're down on the floor, and then jack them up and put them in. I also find that the dolly, that the wheels for it, is a great dolly, better than those little furniture dollies you can get at the hardware store. So it doubles also to move heavy things around on the job. We'll take a pause on the Awesome Rolling Toolbox tour update here. Be sure to watch for part 3 coming very soon. If you want a set of workbench plans, be sure to click on the link right here in the video. If you like these videos, give them a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, but most important, share with others. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a great day.